have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan. Then name the system.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blast. Like we're coming up on Alderaan.
You may fire when ready.
Welcome to the number one countdown to the Last Jedi podcast in the Oceanias. And this week, for the last time, I'll say that as we have basically struck zero on the clock, next week, it is Last Jedi time. This is officially the last countdown episode, I suppose. Next week, we'll be watching The Last Jedi, and I'll get to see Porgs on the big screen, and hopefully seeing Chewie get what he fucking deserves, that piece of shit.
No, you'll just see them get rocketed across the Millennium Falcon as he punches them.
Yep, it's punched out.
Are you
out
excited for like whack-a-mole like things to come up in like all of your like cinemas and local arcades, but they're porgs instead of moles? Yeah.
At Disneyland, there's going to be porg bashams.
Yeah. It's a porg world after all.
Bang bang.
Wow. This week we're going to be discussing The Force Awakens, Lor San Tekka, the original trilogy characters, and we'll be discussing the new trilogy characters, plus dropping our Last Jedi predictions for what will be happening next week when we're in the cinema watching that big fancy movie. Joining me this week, dropping hot fire bullshit, is Ciaran Marchant.
When don't I drop hot fire bullshit? Like that's why I'm on a podcast, right?
Ashley Hobley's also here.
I am also here. And I agree. You only talk bullshit, Ciaran.
That's fine. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Job description.
Job description.
Bullshit. Fair enough.
Head of
All right.
bullshit content.
Job title, yeah. Head of bullshit. All right, so we're going to, if for some reason, once again, if this is the first time you're listening to the show, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this week's movie, which is The Force Awakens, and we're going to go through it via my notes. Anyone feels free to jump in at any point, and we're just going to discuss the movie, see if anyone has any questions, weird tangents, stuff like that. But first, as we always do, what is everyone's general opinions of The Force Awakens? Ashley.
I really like it. And I still like it. I liked it when I went to a midnight premiere. I think the atmosphere of that's like the first one I've ever been to. So like the atmosphere of being there for the new Star Wars was incredible. Although it was nearly impossible to get out of the candy bar, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, I love it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, there's a bit of hate because it's so close to A New Hope, but it's not an issue for me. I'm keen to talk about it.
Ciaran.
I love it. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Yeah, when I remember the first time I watched it, I was a bit like, wait, that was just A New Hope. And then when I rewatched it, I realized that, fuck it, it's Star Wars and I love Star Wars. So I thoroughly enjoy it and I love it. And I'm happy that we watched it again. And all the Star Warses. Okay, thanks for joining us today. See you later.
An app and a website that I plug regularly whenever there's a chance because I want them to sponsor me, even though I'm pretty sure this company actually needs money so they can't sponsor me. Just give me back just let me get premium subscription for free. It's track.tv. When I checked into watching The Force Awakens yesterday, when I watched it again, it was my 9th time watching it since I've been using that website.
Nice.
So 9 times in 2 years.
9 times?
Yeah. I think that's a decent...
That's a good effort. Did you were you tracking it like for like cinema viewings as well? Like, were you tracking it at the time? Okay, how many times did you see it when it was in the movies?
3?
I was gonna say 3 is the good amount.
Yeah,
I saw
3
it twice.
times in the cinema. Yeah, I went premiere, then I went the day or the set like day 1 or 2 days after that, and then like a couple weeks later, I remember getting home from work and my mum and dad were like, oh, we're going to go watch The Force Awakens. It's starting in like 20 minutes. I'm like, well, I'll come. Meet you there. I'll come watch it again with you guys. Sure, that sounds fun. Yeah, it's a great movie.
You ruined their date night.
Nah, fuck them. They don't have date night. Once you have kids, date nights, gone.
Maybe they were trying it again. And
yeah.
You just ruined
it. Like, we have 2 adult children. We can...
Cock blocked, Dad.
He already had his like popcorn.
Stay away
box
from my
with the
mum.
hole in the bottom of it.
Okay, jump into my notes and let's start get going for this movie. I love the opening of this movie. There's just like a whole bunch of shit happening, and you have no idea what the fuck's happening on your screen. It's like, who the fuck is Lor San Tekka? Who is this pilot dude? Where the fuck did this droid circular thing come from? Never seen one of those before. Who the fuck is Kylo Ren? He's strong as fuck. How did the galaxy become this after what happened in episode 6? I just love, especially the first time watching it, you get that opening crawl, especially the opening crawl, because until you're sitting in the theater, they'd kept the plot such secret, apart from trailers and stuff like that. And I remember just reading the opening crawl and then just that opening scene. It's like, wow, like, because you had no, like, we didn't really know anything. It's just like, okay, so there's like bad guys back, but we don't really understand like how, like, do they have ships? Like, what size is their army? And then the movie opens and you got all these stormtroopers coming in and stuff like that. They don't really try and ease you in. They don't like. I can imagine in a novel world it like opens with a character like they open with Han or something to try and make it easier or some bullshit like that. But they're just like, nah, here's this guy, Lor San Tekka. He's talking about dark side. He's like, I know what the family you come from. Luke's missing. Where the hell did he go? What's going on? They just throw you straight into the deep end with like 1,000 questions to basically set up the trilogy, and I love it so much.
Okay, so who is he?
Yeah, I was about to say my next, so Lor San Tekka. All right, Dan, he's an interesting character that we get sweet fuck all of him in this movie. And I remember when they announced the casting, everyone assumed he would be a much bigger part, but he dies, like 5 minutes into the movie, basically?
Not even that.
Not even that? Yeah. But they've expanded his character a lot slowly. I say a lot without really
Well, a
meaning it.
lot
They've
in
slowly.
when you've got basically nothing.
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
true. He was even in just last week's Poe Dameron comic. He's in that. He's been popping up a lot more in the Poe Dameron comic, because the Poe Dameron comic is basically leading up to eventually Poe having to go to Jakku to find Lor San Tekka. Like he's the whole comic series so far, 30-something issues. It's been like, try and find out where he is, and he'll turn up somewhere. It's like, oh, Lor San Tekka was just here a minute ago. You just missed him. It's like, oh, you've got to. That's basically the gist of the comics. But he says Lor San Tekka said some interesting lines in the last issue that I wrote down because I thought they'd kind of help explain the kind of character he is. So he says he's all about trying to study the Jedi and the Sith. And he finds like a Sith or Jedi artifact or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And he basically wants to study it, and he's trying to say to this character why he wants to really study it. And he says about the Sith and Jedi, he says they really aren't that different. If they could just get a chance to talk to one another, they would understand that there's not really much difference between them. So he's basically a follower of the Force, like what's the fuck, Baz and Chewie from Rogue One.
Yeah.
He's not like a guardian of the Whills, but he is the same kind of aspect. Like, he believes in the Force. Basically, wants to follow its teachings or stuff like, just general interest in it. And that entire village that gets slaughtered are all like part of that following, like Church of the Force or whatever you want to call it. I think there is an actual name for what they call that people, but everyone in that village that gets slaughtered at the start of this movie is all people that are trying to follow the Force in some kind of direction, and that's the world they live in. Where because at this stage, unless we find out that Luke actually raised like a bunch of Jedi and like they were like out there doing stuff, which I highly doubt. Like, from what we know, Luke was trying to teach new younglings, but it's not like they got to a stage where they grew up and started spreading out like they did in the prequel trilogy, like going on missions to help people. It's at this stage, it's been like 50, 60 years since the Jedi. So like, it is now it's at the believable stage where you can be like, yeah, people probably don't believe the Jedi actually things. Because that was the problem with the original trilogy. It's like, it's only been like 18 years. Like, how did everyone forget the Jedi even existed? It's like, are they real?
Yeah.
They were just back there. But 50, 60 years, it's like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Like, you can.
It's like us forgetting like Nirvana or something.
I wish I could forget Nirvana sometime.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
Hot take.
hot takes coming in nice and hot.
So why do you have the map?
Good question.
He
We don't
found
know.
it, didn't he?
Well, he's got it from somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know. I suppose
I'm
they'll
sure
cover.
we'll find out in the comic.
They'll cover that in the comic, I presume, because it's not like a really important detail. It's not like a detail you really need for future movies. But I presume if they ever get to
Last Jedi prediction, Luke goes, "Oh, I shouldn't have given my map to that guy."
I don't know. Like that'll be like the interesting thing in the Poe Dameron comic, because eventually they have to reach a stage in that comic where, like it ends and leads straight into where Poe's like starts the movie. But if they're going to explain how Lor San Tekka gets the map, are they going to have him actually bump into Luke in the comic? Because then it's like, oh, that's not going to happen until after The Last Jedi's out, obviously, because they're not having Luke pop up in any expanded universe material until it's really necessary. All right, let's talk about Jakku.
I have a couple. Okay,
yeah.
so sorry. Before we move on,
No,
I have a couple-
that's what you do. Yeah,
I have a couple. My phone is filled with notes on this movie. Majority of them are Ciaran's random musings while watching it. Random musing number 1. How does BB-8 use stairs?
He goes down them very easy.
Yeah, he goes down them,
Clunk.
but how did he go up
Clunk.
them?
He's got those wire
Grapple
thingies.
rope.
Yeah, I figured that later. I was like, what? Also, moving a little into that scene a bit more, the trope continues, people.
Oh my god.
The trope continues. Poe Dameron gets told, leave now while you can and get the map to the Resistance. What does Poe do? He stays and tries to kill Kylo Ren. Idiot. Star Wars series about people doing what they're
His
told not to
X-wing
do.
blew up.
No,
Yeah.
but he could have flew that before the X-wing, like before they blew it up.
No, he was trying to take off.
He was trying to take off, and they
he wasn't.
shot it.
No, they just took out the what? Why
He
was
gets
shooting?
in it. BB-8 gets sucked up inside it. He starts like flicking the switches to start the launch procedure.
He could've
Then
got
they
away.
shoot the engine.
Yeah.
Then he pulls out the gun and shoots the trooper back. Then gets out, looks at the destruction, goes, "Oh shit, my ship's fucked."
He could have
Yep.
ran away then. He could have legged
You're
it.
wrong.
He
That's
could've legged
fair.
it.
He could have legged it.
He
I'll
could've
give you
legged
that.
it. He could have rode BB-8. Like, these are all possibilities.
What, like he's running on it and BB-8's rolling?
Also, has anybody been strong enough to,
Stop a blaster shot?
to stop a blaster shot with the Force? Like, is that a normal thing? Because that was impressive.
That
I
was
remember
cool. Yeah, that
I
was one
remember
of
being
the...
impressed with that when I was watching the movie in the cinema. Like, oh shit.
All right, we never see anyone do it in the original movies, obviously, but I presume Vader could do it.
You presume Vader could do it?
Yep.
Okay. And also, last point for this section, is this the first Star Wars movie that there's actual blood in?
No,
No?
they cut off there's a couple. Well, I'm pretty sure when they cut off what's his face, Doctor what's his face is in You Hope there's a bit of blood, or they got rid of it. In
When
one
they
of the special
cut the
editions.
arm off the Wampa.
the Wampa as well, there's blood off that.
There
yeah.
is blood. Okay. Oh,
So there's blood in
okay.
episode 4 and 5.
Because I don't know why for me that image
6.
of Finn with like the bloody handprint down his mask is very
Evocative.
like it has a lot of impact for me. I don't know. It's a very interesting image.
Well, it's a cool piece of imagery, but it also helps them later on where they like want you to remember which one of the stormtroopers is that
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Like,
How
so
is
you
he
can
bleeding
spot him.
through his
had a glove.
stormtrooper outfit?
his glove came off. You could see his
glove
hand
came
through
off.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I thought that the first time I watched it too. I was like, where'd that blood come from? And then I watched it the second time trying to pay attention. And it was like, okay, his glove. Okay, fair enough. Whatever.
Okay. Carry on.
Carry on. Jakku. I don't think it's anything like Tatooine. It's got it's
It's
I don't
only
even-
one sun, so it's completely different.
Yeah, well, apart from the fact there's only one sun, everyone's just saying all these sand planets look the same. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this shit.
I
It's not even
enjoyed
anywhere
the-
near the same.
The scenery of Jakku is I really like because even like the stuff where I've made notes here, like I love how the music builds just as like it opens up as Rey outside the
The Indiana Jones scene.
it's
It's
like
basically Indiana Jones.
that,
that
and then
opening
it
scene.
builds up and everything and it's really interesting there. And then also that shot of her riding away with the cruiser in the background that's crashed. That I remember even watching it today. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Did you finish Battlefront's campaign yet?
Not yet.
Okay, because it's not really a spoiler. Fuck it. There's that like towards the end of that game, you're at the Battle of Jakku. So I remember when I was playing the game, I was like, oh, this is interesting because I've already experienced the Battle of Jakku because they cover it in the like the Aftermath books, like how big of a battle it was, and because it's basically the last battle the Empire has versus the New Republic at this point, or the rebels, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's like when the Force Awakens come out, everyone's just like, oh, everyone just started assuming it was like a planet that they had a fight on at some stage during the rebellion that we never saw. But it's not. It is literally where the Empire finally lost, like officially lost. Because when they lose at Jakku, they run off. That's what happens to the Empire. They lose there, and then they fuck off. What the remnants of what remains of the Empire after their loss at Jakku, they fuck off into the unknown regions of space, and they disappear into there, and that's where they meet Snoke, presumably, and then the New Order forms there. So it's an important place, which makes it all the more interesting that Rey's there, of course, since it does hold some like substance apart from
Some
it's like
significance.
Significance. It's not like a random. It's not like, oh, we had a battle there. It's like this is where they actually.
People seem to
Lost.
have like love leaving their kids in places in some kind of significance, you know, like Luke and Leia, Luke getting left on Tatooine, Rey getting left here. Like it's interesting. Wonder who her father
Well,
is.
you don't want to leave your children at boring places.
No.
Why not? That sounds safer.
Leave them to fend somewhere where they need to put up with 1/4 portion.
God, I love that guy's Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, yeah.
I was amazed when I found that out. I
Today
was
you
like,
can have
That's awesome.
3/4 portions. The Poe Finn bromance, I love that shit. I love it so
Yep.
much.
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
I enjoy it. There's a couple of things. I'm just reading
Yeah.
my notes quickly. As I remember, one of them is, shouldn't one of them have known to disconnect the fucking TIE fighter from the goddamn...
Well, Finn's not a pilot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Poe
but wouldn't they have seen the
doesn't-
giant fucking cable sticking into the ship?
Well, they did as soon as he took off.
Yeah,
Maybe
as soon as
just
he
thought
took off, like pre-taking off, you would have thought that would have been something. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they thought it just dropped off like once they launched or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Also, shouldn't the First Order have like a better defense mechanism that stops people from literally flying off with one of
They
those
probably do
fighters?
after this.
How
'cause this is
many-
the first time it's ever
Yeah,
happened.
how many times has this happened before? Never.
Like-
0.
No, like that's the thing. But wouldn't they like the big opening? Couldn't that be closed? Couldn't
No.
like the moment, like the whole 30 seconds they were like hanging in midair? Couldn't somebody just be, oh, I'm just gonna press the button to close the fucking door?
Why'd you
Just-
close the door?
It was too convenient.
They have up.
Uses up a lot of power.
It's not like.
It's up a
It's
lot
not
of
like.
power.
There's like a. I don't know what. Like a force gate.
There's a
thing
force
or
field to
whatever.
keep the air in, but couldn't
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
like? Shouldn't that be like able to become thicker and like fucking like crash, suck it? You ran to our wall. We can't.
Well, no, they're worried about things getting in, not out. I suppose.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that seems like a. These people designing these kind of spaceships and shit need to have a bit of forethought, you know?
Yeah, they should just not be trusting of anybody.
Like, just fucking don't have an ego. Just fucking plan for everything.
Fair enough. Is that your last? Is that your last?
Oh no! Final random thought.
Yeah.
What happens if you just swallow the powder from like the expanding bread? Does it just expand in your stomach?
You die. Let's presume you die.
You die? Okay.
Or you get really full
Or you get really exactly. So why doesn't she do that?
because it doesn't
One
taste as good.
death
I don't.
portion.
I think that is a cool effect. I
It
really
was
like
a cool effect,
And
but
it was
like,
real.
Yeah. How did they do that?
Don't know. I presume it tastes like hot garbage, but it's cool. It's a real
Alright.
thing that happens.
Magic.
carrying.
They're like, we're making Star Wars again, and we're going to do practical effects, including expanding portions. All right,
How much is
by-
a full portion then? Because
Yeah,
if that was
well,
a
I
quarter
don't know.
portion, it must be
You
pretty
get like
big.
30, 60 something portions for BB-8, so
I know.
a portion is, I
Expensive.
don't know, don't like squares.
What else was she eating? That wasn't the only thing
I
she
don't
ate though.
know.
Come on,
Garbage.
Dylan.
Yuck. I don't know. Sorry, I haven't looked up what the fuck she was eating.
The
Sorry.
First Order as well. The First Order isn't like a controlling government or a controlling body, correct? It's just some kind of fucking douchebag mini, like militant people group, correct? Like it's not like a a government or like it's not
They're
how
not a
the Empire
government.
was.
No, they're not
No?
in charge. The New Republic's in charge.
So why is it called why are they called a fucking resistance? Why are they still called the resistance?
Okay.
Because they're resisting the new order.
Quick explanation of the politic from everything I know about the politics, because this is one of the things that annoyed me about Force Awakens. I remember driving home. Add this to a list of reasons my ex maybe have left me. Because I remember driving home Force Awakens the whole time in the car for 2 hours back from Hobart. I'm like, what are the politics in this world? Like, why would this happen? Like, who's in charge of this fucking shit? How's this? Imagine 2 hours of me ranting about that.
Yeah.
I'd be straight into your pants when I got.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, what kind of terrible person doesn't want to hear you talk about that for 2 hours?
Let's pull over.
Get rid of
it now.
Good thing you left her, yeah.
Fucking politically lecture me now.
So they get into it in some of the books. So the First Order starts rising as like a Nazi like party type thing, I suppose, like something like that, like a group on the outside that's saying that what the New Republic's doing currently is wrong, like the system's going wrong. Mon Mothma is sick, like she's dying, so she's not like at the forefront leading the charge and stuff like that. And there's a good book called Bloodline which covers, it's basically old Leia dealing with the politics happening leading up to episode 7 before she starts the resistance. So a lot of people try to take over, turn the New Republic back into an emperor like party system with one person in charge of everything like that, and you start getting these like First Order sympathizers, and the First Order's not really doing anything at this point. They're just like this body, like they're not like going around killing anyone and stuff like this. And another thing is that like in the Poe Dameron comic, even after the Resistance started, they're not supposed to engage in fights with them because they're not, like, they're only allowed to do it if they defend themselves. And the Resistance is eventually gets formed by Leia once she finds out that the First Order is like a legit threat that should be looked into, like this group that's forming an army, but they have no idea how big the First Order is, and that's why there's a shot in The Force Awakens when Poe is getting led into.
Which was one of my questions. I was like, why is he so shocked? I'm like,
that's why he's so shocked, because when he gets into a ship and he sees the amount of ships and how many people and stuff there, that him looking around, whenever I watch that movie now, knowing that they know sweet fuck all about them, is him going, oh shit, like this is more than we thought. Like, because they know there's a certain amount of them, but not to that extent. The Resistance is not supported by the New Republic. So it is like an offset. Leia basically grabs a whole bunch of pilots or asks people to come help if they want to. They do missions on the low, and if they ever got caught or in trouble or anything like that, the New Republic is basically like, nah, never heard of them. No, you weren't supposed to be doing that. So that's why they're the Resistance. They're not even supported by the New Republic. It's a whole dumb. Fucked up. Yeah,
that's really dumb.
It is really dumb.
Like real politics.
So there's a character when they blow the part where they when they're at Maz's castle and they're about to, when they blow up those planets, and it cuts to a shot of all those people on like the balcony at that point, like there's that quick shot. That is, at that point, that's where the New Republic is. Every couple of years they change the planet where the party system's held, so it's not all held on like Coruscant anymore. It's like every 4 or 5 years we move the planet where the party system's kept, kind of thing. That's where they all are. The girl at the front whose face they zoom on, she was basically Leia's right hand lady, or whatever you want to call it, like her main second in charge, or whatever you want to call her. So when Leia finds out about like the First Order has this Starkiller base or whatever else, and like the shit's about to go down, she says to her, go back, you need to tell the New Republic, like, this is a much bigger threat, they need to do something about it. So she goes back to that planet to tell them in time for her to get killed. So yeah, these are also the kind of things why I get really excited about reading the books, because when you rewatch them, that 5-second scene of her face is completely changed, because I read an entire book about her character and know why she was there, because I now know that Leia sends her there and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, the political system in The Force Awakens is all kinds of hot garbage.
Fucked up. Okay.
It's all kinds of fucked up. Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
All right.
Totally unrealistic.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't happen. That shit doesn't happen. By this point, we've met all of our new trio of characters. So you've got Finn, Poe, Rey, and you can count Kylo if you're a Nicholas fan of the dark side or some shit, I suppose, like that. Who is everyone's favorite of the new characters and why? Ash.
Probably Rey. I think she has the most
Yeah?
interesting arc of the story, and obviously she's being put front and center, sort of, for this new trilogy. So
That's fair.
it's hard not to. And she probably gets more screen time than the other two, I think. Well, probably.
Yeah, well, she's the main character. So.
Finn pretty close, but
Yeah. Ciaran?
Finn is my
Yeah?
favorite. Just I really enjoy the writing, and I enjoy how flawed Finn's character is.
He's a character
was-
we've never seen before, so.
Yeah, I know. And it's just I enjoy, how he starts off like a straight up coward and stuff. Like he's not interested in doing this save the world crap. And it made me really happy. One of my notes was I was so glad that Finn didn't have to come to Rey's rescue when BB-8 was getting kidnapped by those two figures in the junk market. I was so happy.
That whole scene is a whole bunch of, we're not going to make our female lead she's not going to need to rescue. It's like, doesn't need saving, and then he goes to grab her hand. It's like, stop grabbing my hand. I can fucking run myself.
Yeah.
Like,
I also laughed at that point that she was more concerned with him grabbing her hand
Anything
than
else.
the actual, the troopers chasing after them. I found that very funny. Also a note on that scene, TIE fighters, not built for stealth.
no. They just come in at 1,000 miles an hour, yeah.
They come with
Make a whole bunch of
They
racket.
make lots of noise. Yeah.
They make a whole bunch
But
of racket.
Finn's my favorite character in the game. Well, he is going to be in a game soon. But in the movie, Finn is my favorite character by far. I love Rey, but I really enjoy Finn.
I also love Rey. However, from pure enjoyment factor, my answer is Poe.
You didn't give us that as an option.
yeah, he did. He said
Yeah,
of
I did.
all the new
Did
characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I tuned out.
Yeah. Thank
Fucking
God you're
hell.
not. This isn't an audio podcast where you need to listen to each other.
We don't need to listen. Audience members, I give you permission not to listen.
Poe and Finn have my favorite scene in the whole movie. Well, not my favorite scene, but just one that makes me like pure enjoyment every single time. And it is after they're getting rescued at Maz's castle, like when Poe shows up with the Resistance, and there's that moment where Poe like shoots down 5 TIE fighters or however many in the sky, and then blows up a couple stormtroopers on the ground, and then like Finn runs up and he's like, "Now that's one hell of a pilot," and it cuts that shot of Poe being like, "Whoa!" I'm just like, it makes me happy every time. I'm just like, I love it.
You're
I
just
love
like,
it.
damn
Poe's like the
straight.
embodiment of just like the coolest dude, and like I've grown more attached reading the comic series and stuff like that too, because you obviously get more out of it.
Is the comic? I'm guessing the comic books are going to fill in, or hopefully fill in, the section between the crash landing at Jakku and him arriving there.
They did it in the Lego Force Awakens game.
No,
They
Need
did.
to play it now.
no.
They did.
What happened?
Some alien character comes along and saves him. Takes him
Right.
into town. I think it was DLC. I probably paid $5. Let's be honest.
Got him. Got him.
That was one of the DLCs. The other one was the C-3PO red hand thing, which they already told in a comic, but then they
Isn't
turned
that
it to a
super
DLC.
sad?
It is sad. The comic made me really sad. I was like, holy
Like, isn't it like
shit.
some robot saved his life?
Yeah, this robot's like, at the end of he gets stranded on this deserted planet with like 6 other robots, and then one by one they get killed off as they're trying to make their way to get help, and it's just him and this other robot who they didn't like each other throughout the whole thing, and then they at the end there's acid rainstorms happening, and then they can see like the remote out in the distance, and one of them needs to get to it to call for help, but like the remote could melt, and and then the other guy's like, I'm gonna go out there and get the remote, and then all that's left of him is his red arm. And C-3PO lost an arm by an alien like monster before, so he puts on the red arm, calls for help. Poe comes down. He's like, "Where'd you get that?" C-3PO's like, "Oh, just from my friend." And you're like, "Oh, sad." So kinds of sad. Yeah. So Poe Dameron. Yeah. That's the.
Not enough Poe in this movie.
It's one of my It's funny, like you said about the watching it in the cinema thing before. My next note was, it's funny how many cinema memories I have tied to certain scenes in this movie. Like, I always remember the audience's cheer when Rey says, "The garbage ship will do," and the camera pans to the Falcon sitting there. Because everyone in my
I
cinema
remember that feeling.
cheered and like wowed, and it's just like, just the camera fan. I was like, "Wah!" Like everyone went batshit crazy, and like that moment's like cemented into my head whenever I watch the movie now. I just think of that, like everyone cheering in the cinema. But it's funny because whenever you rewatch it, you can actually see the Falcon sitting off to the right there when they run out of the gate. But you just don't notice it the first time you're watching it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that it's there. It's just they relied on no one actually noticing it until they did the little reveal.
They didn't do like some switch where it's like it's not there, but then 2 minutes later it is.
That's good. The one scene I don't want to like say, because I do love this movie. There's one scene.
So you hate the Han and Chewie with like the monsters scene.
Yep.
I think
I don't mind
everybody
it.
does.
I like
don't think
it.
anybody actually. It
It has
don't
not
like it.
grown on me. Like sometimes you can be like, oh yeah, this scene will grow on me. It has not grown on me. It is 5 to 10 minutes of, just so you know, guys, Han's still cool. Like they have that whole scene with him talking to the guys, trying to talk about. It's just like, just in case you forgot, Han's still a really cool character. Like look at him being cool, being on like smart ass and stuff like that. In case you forgot, and then we
That
cut
was
to a scene
important
of
character
Han's-
development.
No, it wasn't. And we cut to a scene of Harrison Ford trying to run down a corridor where we now know he broke a fucking leg, like trying to trip it over in the Millennium Falcon. So it's just like he's barely running. It's just like, it's like, you're going to make another Indiana Jones, dude? You're going to die. You're going to die. Just don't.
I think for me, if that scene was like, I remember I feel warm and fuzzy when they first come onto the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, everyone
whole
loves that
exchange.
scene, but what
Feel warm and
follows?
fuzzy. What follows it, I'm like, nope, stop now. I wouldn't mind if there's like an exchange of like, instead they did it where it was on like the, like Han like literally just steps off the Millennium Falcon, has the talky talk with the gangs, and then, you know, somehow Finn and Rey like do a distraction and they fucking escape that way. I don't need the CGI monsters. Don't need those. No, thank you.
Rathars.
But
I don't
tentacles.
need those.
They had a DLC to the Lego Force Awakens game where you go hunt the Rathars.
Really? Fuck. No.
Played that too.
They're pretty
Played it
scary.
all.
Of course you did.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. It was in Lego.
No, I'm saying the monsters are pretty
It was
scary.
Lego.
All the tentacles and the teeth and the eating each other.
Nah, they're giant balls. Do you see when they're chasing
They're just
after
rolling,
them? They just
yeah.
start rolling. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. I appreciate the
Yeah.
design. I just feel like it was completely
There was
unnecessary.
we've gone past it a little bit, but there's a bit where when Kylo gets told that, hey, this Finn guy and they escaped with the robot. Oh, by the way, they were helped by a girl. And like he like totally loses his shit after being told that it was a girl. And I'm like, why is that important? Like why?
He's a
Everyone
misogynist.
just reads into the
Jeez.
scene like he's supposed to know. I think he's just getting shitty because like there's another person giving them
Yeah.
help.
Okay,
It wasn't.
that's fair
Everyone's like, does he know the girl? But then later on in the movie, he's like, the girl I've been hearing so much about. It's not like you. It's just like he's just shitty. Like
You know, that's why I was just because it just seemed to escalate with the mention of her, and I'm like,
escalate. He destroyed an entire fucking
he destroyed that, but he was taking it out on the physical console, and then he just mentions the girl, and then the guy's getting force choked, and you're like,
Maybe he thought it was his mum.
okay,
like-
possibly, but I don't
I
think
don't
okay,
Maybe he has mummy. He has women issues because he has mummy issues.
Yeah.
probably, possibly. Let's do that.
Read into this psychological evaluate
Yeah.
Kylo
Yeah,
Ren
let's do that.
or Ben Solo, whatever you want to call him. Not by his online name.
Also, can people please get BB-8 some kind of fucking disguise? Fucking cover him up, put him under a box for all I care. Every time people see that fucking droid, they're like, hey, That's the fucking droid. Get him.
Yeah.
It's
They make
like-
sure they cover that in a quick line where Poe's like, he's orange and white, he's one of a kind.
Yeah, he says he's one of a kind, but it's like, okay, put a box over him then.
Put a box over it.
Give him some kind of disguise. Put a moustache on him. Make him definitely not BB-8, and then we're good.
I don't know if the
I
moustache
think it
will work.
will. Mustache,
Might
little
do.
top hat,
Little
monocle.
top hat, be fine. Hello, sir. How are you? Sorry, we're a bunch of gang lords here. We're just dealing with Han Solo. Be right on your way. His monocle falls off. Oh my god, it's the droid!
Oh, that would have made that scene so much better.
It would have made the scene amazing. Dylan's face here. The face of pure disbelief and disapproval.
He's so disappointed that
And-
that's not what was on screen.
Exactly. He's just like, give that droid a top
Right.
hat and a mustache.
Lucasfilm story team, if you need ideas.
Good lord. Moving on. There's a scene where we finally get introduced to Snoke, where I presume, like me and everyone else in my cinema, until they had the hologram disappear, I actually thought Snoke was a giant fucking dude, like not
Yep.
a
I
hologram.
didn't. I was smart enough to know it was a hologram.
Also, because I haven't watched this since they announced the name of The Last Jedi, he literally says,
He
Last
says,
Jedi.
yeah.
leading them to the Last Jedi when they're talking about the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally refers to Luke as the Last Jedi.
Yep, it's it.
Fucking
right there
got
in the
him.
search.
They fucking got us good,
Right
guys. They
Right there.
pulled a fast one. They just... So you
Now
know
we've
what?
got to watch every line of dialogue in this film.
In The Last Jedi? Yep. And that's going to be the title for episode 9. Will be
We'll,
in The
we'll all
Last
pick
Jedi.
one next week.
Every line that Snoke says. Every line that Snoke says. Just read into that.
Everybody just ask the cinema if they could pause it between every line so you can write it
So
down.
write down what Snoke says. Pay attention. Let's talk about the when they go to Maz's castle and the Rey.
I got a question. How does Ray know
know
so
what
much
you want.
about ships?
That's
she
one
works
how
on
does
them.
Ray know so much about anything?
Okay,
Yes.
I can cover this. It's covered in a book.
Oh,
'Cause she's,
What do
she's
you wanna
obviously-
know?
She was left with that
Yeah.
trader. With
all she
Simon
seems to
Pegg.
do is
She
pull
knows
stuff
so much
apart.
about ships because she pulls apart and scavenges ships, so she's taught herself what all the parts do. She's also helped Unkar Pluck rebuild ships ready for flight, and she discovered a training system thing on one of the ships, and that's how she taught herself how to fly.
Also, the one other thing I'd love to learn from Star Wars, if they were like, you could learn anything from Star Wars, any skill, anything, what would you learn? Mine would be to talk to robots. I want to know that language.
Well, she knows that because she lives on a planet that's just like...
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, in general, for me personally, I think the characters that can talk to the robots. are
How does
the
she
coolest
talk
characters.
Wookiee?
Well, just presume Wookiees came in. Like, why can't Wookiees come visit
'Cause
Jakku
it's
as
very
well?
hot.
Like,
That's
what...
a good point.
Because Wookiees don't like
That's a very
sand.
good point.
Gets in their fur.
That's
It
just
gets
chewy.
all coarse and it gets all in their fur.
It's just chewy.
It's not.
That's
like
how
their
she knows how
lovers.
to. That's how she knows to speak so much because it's just like there's constantly people coming and going from Jakku. So
Yeah, and yeah,
just species,
Eavesdropping while
whatever.
she's scrubbing those bits.
well, it's a trader outpost. Also, that's the other thing I don't understand. That's the one part I actually don't. That when that lady like
when she
tells
looked
her
at the
off.
lady scrubbing and then she got
Yeah, and then she gets told off or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure from what I understand, they're just free tables.
Yeah,
Like,
why
you
you
don't-
giving
like-
a hassle?
maybe other people were waiting
Yeah.
for the table.
Possible. That could be.
Maybe
a
she was
good-
taking up time.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll buy that.
Should have gotten there early.
All right. Talk about the Ray dream sequence or whatever, however you want to describe it. I don't know what people call it. The touches the Luke's lightsaber, whatever thingamabob.
Has an acid trip.
Has an acid trip. Every time I watch this scene, I hear a new line of dialogue. I swear to God. Every time. I'm like, oh. And simply because there is so much to spot in here, like,
We're gonna play it back to you.
there is
13%
there are
speed.
all the different character voices and actors and lines have chopped and new lines have got recorded. The scenes like it's just it's hard not to try and read into it all every time I watch it too because it's like, well, she starts on Cloud City, presumably. I think that's what that's supposed to be. She's
Her
in
dad's
like
Lando Calrissian. No.
the, it's supposed to be like the corridors where Luke fights Vader, because that's where he loses the lightsaber, I suppose. But that's why it starts there. That's where he lost it. So
Her dad's
make
Darth
sense.
Vader. No.
oh my god.
No, her dad is Boba Fett to make Boba Fett awesome.
Nope. We then so you get the scenes of, so the most important ones, of course, are you get the shot of, and I suppose Luke putting his hand on R2, presumably watching like the burning
That's when he
of
put
the
the map in
temple
there.
or something like
Oh, no.
that.
That's when he
Hey?
put the map in there. He touched
Nah, maybe.
No, 'cause
cybernetics.
that same scene is in some of the Last Jedi trailers.
Yeah, it's the exact same scene.
Exact same
There was
scene.
there was a rumor going around at one stage that they literally cut at like the week before the movie released, they cut out the whole scene with the temple being burned and like the Knights of Ren and stuff. Like it was originally in the movie, and they're like, "Nah, bye."
So we're guessing that Luke's killed the rest of the Knights of Ren, right?
Nope.
No,
I
they're
presume they're
alive?
still around, and we just never get to see them. The only time you ever see the Knights of Ren are in that vision, and if you buy the art book, you can have a nice close look at all of them and be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. They were in the movie for a total of 2 seconds." Like, that's cool. Oh, and yeah, I suppose the only other mention of them is when Snoke's like, "For you, Kylo, master of the Knights of Ren," or whatever he says. It's like, okay. So you then, so you get the shot of one of them like killing presumably a youngling from behind, like a lightsaber gets stabbed as she's like laying there on the ground. That's probably there too. Then you get the shot of Ankar Plot holding her as her presumably family's ship takes off. And then the one that always stands out to me these days, and I think it's important when you're thinking about what Rey's Force abilities are and stuff like that, is the scene after that cuts to like her bumping into Kylo in what appears to be the forest from the end of the movie. Which, if you're gonna go that far, it means because some Jedi have special abilities, like they can get.
So she's gonna have Force on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, she could have some level of precognition or something like that. Like that's a possibility. I wouldn't go as far as to say that's not a thing that could be one of her things, because it makes sense, because that all the other scenes are, it's like she's seeing past, like her past, she sees her past, the lightsaber's past, technically, I suppose. Then she sees Luke's past, even though the lightsaber was never there on when the Knights of Ren are destroying it. And then she sees her own future bumping into Kylo. And then you also hear the voices of, they recut Alec Guinness recut him saying some lines to make him say Rey. So you hear Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan say Rey at some point in this. They got Frank Oz to come in and record lines as Yoda, and you hear Yoda say some stuff. And then
Ewan McGregor, isn't it?
Ewan McGregor drops the last line as she's tumbling out into the corridor. You hear Ewan McGregor in the background say, "These are her first steps," or something like that. It's like, "These are her first steps. These are your first steps," something like that. So it ends with Ewan McGregor dropping those lines, and that they got him to come in just to record
That.
one
Do
line.
we see any of the Force ghosts in the next movie?
We'll get to that.
No, but Dylan. No, I'm good. Okay.
Can I say that
my-
the bar scene, second best music in Star Wars? The bar venue.
Oh, that's a
Well, it's
hot
better
take.
than the friggin' Jabba's Hut palace scene. It's not as good as the cantina.
That's true, but it's
Is it second best to the Mos
Yes.
Eisley Cantina? Yeah, thank you.
one of my favorite scenes that I absolutely love is the General Hux Nazi scene.
Oh man,
Is one of my favorite
Donald
just because he goes
Gleason,
so
man.
hardcore, and I love it. I know he goes so hardcore. Bow to the first time. Like I just
he
I love
talks
it.
like Dylan
and then
does.
it cuts to the shot of all the. Yeah, it's like he cuts this shot of all the troopers like salute, like the salute real quick, so you hear all the like their feet like come together, like very Nazi-esque, very. And I just love how they have Domhnall Gleeson go like so hardcore, like Nazi, fucking like full on like, "Bah!" bow to the First Order, like, no feel the wrath, and it cuts to like the neo-Nazi salute type stuff. Because of course, when George Lucas created Star Wars, it was like there was no way they weren't trying to,
Yeah,
you know,
recreate. Yeah.
it was like very inspired by Nazi stuff. So yeah, I just love it. I remember people hate it, like he's a terrible actor. I'm like, no, he's great in that scene. I fucking love it. Like it's so good. Death Star, the original, destroyed one planet. The second Death Star managed to destroy 0. Starkiller Base blew up a system of planets, putting Starkiller Base at the number 1 spot of Death Stars.
Yeah.
Well, it is not really a Death Star. It's a Death Planet.
It's a well, just
It's
saying,
not a star. It's a planet.
putting in work. You know, just,
It is putting in the work,
Yeah.
yeah. If we can be grammatically correct on the show, that'd be great. Thank you.
So does it hyperdrive like to different stars?
Yeah, the laser beams go through hyperdrives. Hyperspace.
It's got a significant flaw at the fact that it eats goddamn suns.
Yeah, so there's only a finite number of suns.
Yeah, that's why
times you can-
they need to move it after. Yeah, they need to move after they need to move it after they use it once, basically.
What if they miss?
Well,
You'll hit something
don't
eventually.
miss. I don't. Yeah, yeah. Use laser targeting system. I don't know. The first Leia and Han scene, I love it. Even though
C-3PO.
I mean, I C-3PO. I know a lot of people used to get really annoyed. Like I mean, people were getting really annoyed reading about that. I'm like, it's kind of. I like it. I appreciate the funniness
Yeah.
of it. That's kind of
That's
just
Star Wars.
how the bunch of them would all be. It's Star Wars. Yeah, I like it. And then I still kind of get the feels when they're having the conversation on the base there where she's like, you're his father, like there's still some good in him, I can feel it. Like he's like, oh, but Luke tried, but yeah, and you know, Luke's not his dad, so blah blah blah. It's like, especially now that you know he fucking dies, it's like, oh, good
Good job, Leia.
Yeah.
job, Leia, you fucking got Han killed.
Han Solo's Force Ghost is just shaking his head.
No one likes watching Han die. However, I do love that scene because of the imagery
it's-
in it, which is the sun as they're taking out the sunlight or whatever, and the room slowly getting darker. You basically see the light disappear across Kylo Ren's face, and then right as the last bit of light disappears and he's fully covered in darkness, he stabs Han. So it's like this double meaning of the light disappearing out of him as they suck it. I know, it's just great. It's just like one of those double.
I did notice that
It's great.
this viewing. I was like, symbolism.
Yeah, it's a symbolism.
If only they turned around and saw the symbolism, they could have saved Han.
I don't know. I don't think you would have had enough time to get out of the way.
Yeah, no, I think
I also love how
maybe
there's no music in that scene.
Yeah.
It's just silent.
Did Han know he was going to die? On this viewing, I'm kind of like, no, this is not.
I presume he would know there's a
I think
chance.
Harrison Ford knew.
He didn't go out there to die.
Harrison Ford knew, but like what I'm saying is, my big thing was that Kylo Ren's working for both sides, and to earn the trust of Snoke, he has to do this. Hence the whole, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. Can you help me? And then Han gives him kind of like the nod. So I was all like, okay, Han knew that his death was needed to progress. But at the same time, I'm like, nope.
No, you
I
don't.
don't think that makes sense. No, I don't believe that anymore. Just because, even just looking at like Han's expression and the blankness on Kylo's face, I don't know. I'm just confused about it now. I was really certain on it when the movie first came out.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a stretch
glad
to think
they
he's a
changed
double
their
agent. Although it would explain why he keeps destroying stuff.
Destroying stuff?
Just
having a
setting back the
tantrum.
First Order. They have to pay for all that stuff. Where there's all the money coming from?
Yeah. Before he strikes stuff, you don't see him go, what does that do again?
And you can't keep
Talking
secrets
about,
from
like,
Jedis. Like, because they all read each other's minds and stuff.
Nope, not how that works
Yeah.
at all.
Nope.
Talking about great imagery and stuff like that, I love the the lightsaber fight in the forest. Just like I think it's a great fight in general. The whole scene, everything about that. But I just love also seeing the blue lights like bouncing off the snow and everything like that. Like it's
Top
great
notch.
looking.
Question: did Rey go from like 0 to 100
Yep.
with her Force powers?
No, she was already at 100.
But like things like I can't remember. But is there a way? Did she know that she could use like the Jedi mind tricks and stuff?
She was heard about
The
them.
midichlorians
She
Heard
heard
kicked in.
tales. That's
Her midichlorians kicked in and like, hey Rey, it's me, a midichlorian.
I feel like everyone's questions about Rey's powers or like why she goes like hardcore very fast should have just been wrapped up when they released the trailer of Luke literally being like, I've never seen fucking last time I saw power this I fucking couldn't control. I wasn't scared then. It's like, yeah, Rey's
Super
like
powerful.
really fucking. She's
Okay,
just really raw power. It's like
Fair enough.
okay, so.
Midichlorians doing their work. Good job.
Also, Kylo would have normally won that fight, as far as I'm concerned. He only lost because he was already wounded.
He was
They-
already wounded.
And
I
he
get
let
so
her
annoyed
close her
people-
eyes and
like-
think about it for a really long time.
Yeah, it's like use that, push her down there.
That was one of the reshoots, that scene.
Oh really?
Yeah, they I can't remember who suggested it. A director friend, I can't remember which director it was. Someone suggested, like after they watched the cut, like a month before the movie, was like you should film a scene where of just like her tapping in or something like that, and they brought them back onto the studio to shoot that close up shot, and they added it in like a month before.
Fair
There you
enough.
go. They
Even
spend the majority of this movie showing you how powerful Chewie's bowcaster is. Like, all movie, they're like, look, it's making dudes fly halfway across the fucking field, like blowing shit up. And then they shoot Kylo with it, and he takes it like
a boss.
nothing. Like a fucking boss. But the fact is, he still took a shot from that very powerful weapon. And people are like, oh, why is he actually hurt? Like, why didn't it's like, no, he's like really powerful. Like, that's just like supposed to show you how strong he is. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But it's also a
Even-
handicap, of course, in the Rey fight because he is hurt.
Yeah, even like you know what? I don't think he's trying to kill her though in that fight.
No, he's
Like,
not. He's trying to turn her.
He's trying to turn her.
He
and-
got told to bring. Snoke literally said, "Bring her to me."
Yeah. So he's not trying to kill her. He also stops fighting at one point to start banging his chest again. And I'm kind of like, okay.
It's getting the blood
Okay.
pumping.
That's like tapping into the pain to get more dark side power type thing, whatever you want to call it. It's also worth in the novelization of The Force Awakens.
How many times have you read that?
I haven't read that.
Oh,
I just
okay.
read this online. This is I read this paragraph, whatever, from the book online. There's when Rey's like beating Kylo back there, she can hear Snoke in her head saying, "Kill him."
Interesting.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, talk about the ending of the movie.
Can I just say that explosion
more
of the
week.
planet is really pretty. It was,
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm
because
not sure
it's-
how anybody escaped, including.
yeah.
You know what?
because it doesn't
Who's-
explode.
who-
It implodes and then forms another sun, and it's really cool.
Question, and I think this mirrors the movie now. Who's the one character that is new that we've not talked about once this podcast? Nobody's spoken about Captain Phasma.
Because
Yeah,
she's
because
not a
she does fuck all in
character.
this.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's just. I
They
just
made
wanted to
her a
make that
big
point.
deal
We
leading
haven't-
up, and she did nothing.
We made this big point about her.
Look, Phasma fans, I'm a big fan of the book that just come out. It's got me excited for her in The Last Jedi, but they have to actually prove to me they're going to put her.
She
use
is
in
the
that
Boba
movie.
Fett of the new trilogy.
Yeah, it's like it's just continuing the trend
Basically.
of minor bad guys being shit.
Yeah, no, she was horrible in that movie. No offense, Gwendolyn Christie.
If you're even in that outfit.
I was hoping.
No, she was. She was.
How did she get out of the trash?
Yeah.
Well, it's covered
Is
in the
it?
comic. They literally just put out a comic. They just put out a comic that covered that.
Put her key code in, and she walked out.
Did she like put a key code in, like have like two guns at?
No, she
keep
just
the door
basically
in?
just walks out, and then she goes to the computer to like wipe to wipe evidence that she disabled the shields, and then she sees that someone just accessed the information. So she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to get like if that person goes and tells General Hux or something that I put the shields down, I'm fucked." So then she chases down that person and kills them to cover her own ass.
Ah, interesting.
All the while leaving the planet. Every time she walks past stormtroopers on the way to find this person, they're like, "Can we go?" Like the planet's exploding, and she's like, "Hold your position." Like they just want to. Basically, between the comic and book, they just want to. Phasma is ruthless, and she's not out for the First Order. She's out for her own ass. Like if something better came up than the First Order, she'd jump ship.
Okay, fair enough.
She's not big First Order. It's just like whatever is best for me.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was hoping she kicked open the door of the garbage chute. Was like, time to take out the trash.
No, if they spent 5 issues of a comic having a fight fucking garbage chute monsters, I would have been so bored. My God. So yeah, one more week until we get to watch the Last Jedi, which I found really interesting watching this movie this time, of course, because it is the first time watching the movie where it's reached that end scene with Luke, and I've been like, oh shit, like there's only a week and I get to find out what happens next. Because any other time I've watched this movie, it's just like, oh, can't wait. Like it's a year away. It's like 2 years away. It's a year and a half. It's fucking 8 months. You know, like whatever. It's like ages away. And this is the one time where I'm like, it's only a week away. Like it's fucking great. I get excited. It's gonna come out and I'll get to know what the fuck Luke's been up
What's
to.
he gonna say?
What's he gonna say? What are his first words? Fuck off. Leave me alone.
Oh, I thought I lost that.
With that, that fucking meme. There was a hand that went with that. With that, let's jump into some Last Jedi predictions. Can anyone? Did you all write down any, or are you just going off your head?
Yep, like count animals.
Fucking Nick
for
Wood.
this section, my Twitter handle is @LordEmpryor. If you're not
Yep.
happy
Yep.
with how I deal with it, tweet me @LordEmpryor.
All right, I'll go
Okay.
first then.
You don't want any of your predictions taken. I get it.
The opening crawl will detail the end of Episode 6 and briefly describe Luke starting a new school of Jedi and how Ben is born and trained. And the opening scene of the movie will be Luke's school getting destroyed by Kylo and the Knights of Ren before we cut back to Rey and Luke.
That would be a departure from.
Yeah, they said this movie's different. I'm just going
Okay, cool.
out
I like
there.
it. I like it a lot.
I'm pretty.
Ash.
Good opening.
I think it'd be cool if they have a long time to go and they just cut straight into it, and then have that scene with her and Luke,
No, that
Ray,
won't
and then
happen.
do the crawl.
Nah. I reckon I'll still have to do a crawl. People get angry.
Yeah. I think Captain Phasma will be redeemed as a character in this movie.
That was like
Safest-
the safest prediction I've
Yep.
ever seen. or
Well,
heard.
she could still screw it
My
up. So.
God. Ciaran.
I believe we will find out more, if not exactly who General Snoke is by the end of this movie.
Supreme Leader.
Supreme Leader Snoke. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, good type of demo.
Let me just cover his exact.
Have some respect.
So he's a Supreme Leader Snoke. We'll find out exactly who he is.
Don't you
During
remember
the
when
scene,
General Hux was like, "Now Kylo, don't forget what Leader Snoke said."
Yes. Yes.
Leader Snoke.
Well, are you going to go next week cosplayed as General Hux?
First Order. Wow. All right. Obi-Wan and Yoda, Force Ghosts. Obi-Wan will be played by Ewan McGregor, and I will lose my fucking mind.
I will also.
What is he going to be like? Look like Alec McGuinness, or is he going to be
No. He'll just be older.
He'll just be older because he's old enough now that it's fine. I don't need him to look like Alan
grey
McGinn.
and stuff?
I don't. No, because in my mind, if you say Obi-Wan, I picture Ewan McGregor. I
Well,
don't
why
picture
didn't
Alec
they
McGinn.
put Ewan
So-
McGregor into the Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi?
They should have. Fuck it. Do it. Re-edit that shit, Lucas. You listening? You listening, punks?
You either have them both from that time period, or you don't.
I hope that does happen. That's my number one. Of all my predictions, that is the one I want to happen the most because it'll make me the happiest. Ash.
I think General Hux bites it in this movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. No one cares enough about him. He's like apparently he's not in this movie that much either. So like a lot less than Force Awakens. So
He's gonna get killed by
Or by
something.
Kylo Ren.
by Kylo Ren, yeah, probably would make more sense. They don't hit it off in this movie.
They didn't hit it off in any movie.
No, his dad's a really interesting character too.
His dad, of course, his
Weird.
dad is.
Bloody dads.
Brendol
Can't live up
Hux.
to it.
No. Well, he crash lands on Captain Phasma's planet. That's how they meet. Ciaran.
I'm gonna guess that Rey either has another vision moment or reads the wills, the Book of Wills.
Wheels.
But from her revelation of this, I think she'll have a moment of doubt and questioning about the Jedi. Like she's just gonna, I think she's gonna go to a point. She's almost gonna go like full Ahsoka. I reckon. I think she won't agree with either side and try and find her own way.
I'm just going to tie that one into mine because I don't want to... It's too much of like a similar repeat, but I had down... The Jedi end. Luke has discovered stuff, stories, or old tales from the Old Republic era, even the Book of the Wills, and he doesn't like the history of the Jedi. They're not what he thought they were, and no, he isn't going evil, but simply deciding that there needs to be something more new, maybe chaotic neutral. So,
Chaotic neutral isn't. No, they'd probably be something be neutral good or chaotic good.
I want him to go mad a bit.
No, I don't think chaotic neutral is.
I want him to go evil. I just want him to go a bit...
No, I don't think chaotic neutral is the
insane.
answer at all. That's too far. That's
Nah,
too
fuck it.
far.
Shouldn't it be
towards
true
dark
neutral?
Nah.
No, because true neutral would be him. It'd be either good neutral or chaotic neutral. Because like the Jedi's are lawful neutral, lawful good. So
This is very nerdy.
no
And I'll
stuff.
drop my next actual one. Leia dies like her mother from a broken heart or something similar, and she joins with the Force when she passes.
So
you
they
gotta
can have Force ghosts in the next movie.
No.
The CG
No,
will be
they're not gonna
easier.
Force ghost her. No, they're not going to Force ghost her.
No, but her body will disappear, or will she just not have a real death? She'll just fade into the Force.
They're going to kill her in this movie, and you got to think of ways that they can kill her without it being disrespectful or like. So obviously having Kylo like being struck down by a lightsaber, that's disgusting because that's just not the way to go about it. Having her blow up in a ship, no, still disgusting. Having her die from like the same weird natural occurrence that her mother did, that of course ties it back in a cool character way. Also, it's not like disgusting. She can kind of just pass away peacefully on a table with people, and then they can have her body join with the Force. Not so they can have her back as Force goes, but just because it's like obviously represents something.
I just
more.
realized that's going to be like a weird. Even though it, I don't know if they'll play it at the start or the end. If they play it at the end, I reckon at the end of Last Jedi, as long as it's a good movie, I'm going to have this feeling to want to be ecstatic and overjoyed at how good the movie is. But I think I'm going to feel numb because that image or that piece of writing is going to come up and say in loving memory of Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
And I'm just going to feel really like numb and sad because, you know.
Well, I would say the movie, if they're going to follow in the steps of the second trilogy ending in a bad way, the movie's going to end on a somber note anyway. Like, it's not going to end on a happy note. And then it's just going to credits is going to pop up and you'll already feel shit from the end of the movie. And then it's just going to pop up in loving memory, no music, and you'll feel even
then the
worse.
Fast and Furious
then
song
you'll
will
have
play?
this yeah.
No.
See
Stop.
you again. Long time.
And she'll be in a spaceship. And
Somebody's just-
the rest of them will be in a spaceship, and they go in their two different directions.
Nope. Nope. Yeah, no, I just reckon she's going to join the Force. Ash.
I think Kylo kills Leia. Yep.
You're disgusting. I hate you and your fire.
Well,
Explosion
you
Network.
think about it. She didn't die until after the movie had finished filming, so either she's not going to
Sorry?
die in this film and it's going to be open-ended for the next one, or she gets killed by Kylo Ren.
Why do you jump to Kylo Ren? Like I jumped to.
You were the
die
one who said
peacefully
he
and
has mummy
disappears into the
issues.
Force.
How do you get rid
Fuck
of
you.
mummy
What's your
issues? You get rid of
prediction,
mummy.
What's your next one?
I
Ciaran?
don't think that is. I don't think that's going to be the case because that's what the trailer is wanting us to believe.
Because they're
So, and generally the trailer is misleading.
maybe they
as fuck.
think that you're going to think that that's misleading.
Oh God, no, we're not meta thinking this.
What's your prediction, Kieran?
My last prediction is that Kylo's going to lose an arm.
I love that.
Kylo's going to lose
Yeah.
an arm. Somebody has lost an arm or part of an arm in every trilogy so far. So, and I think it'll be Kylo, and he'll be. You know what? It might even be like a weird thing he almost does to himself to be more like Vader. That could be fucking weird.
That would be weird, but I don't think that's going to happen. That'd be really
Well,
weird.
He's going to lose an arm though.
All right. I will just rush through my last, because I read more than a few. But no one stole mine, so yay. Well, no, I go away, but I read down too many. Snoke is the most powerful Force user we've ever seen in Star Wars universe to date. An unknown species that came to the remnants of their empire, found them, and helped create the First Order. Grand Admiral Sloane, one of my favorite characters introduced in the books, makes her way onto the film screen. And Holdo, played by Laura Dern, becomes one of the favorite characters from this movie. And people love her. And people write how great she is in this movie. And Luke goes absolute ape shit when he fights Kylo and nearly kills Kylo. And Kylo has to run away or get help.
I hope that is. Oh my God, I'll have the biggest nerdgasm if that is what happens.
That's what
I just want Luke to be a total badass. Like, I don't want Luke to have, like, you know, sometimes even with Alec McGuinness playing freaking Obi-Wan, you know, it was like, oh, he's lost a lot of his good stuff. No, I want Luke to be a badass still.
No, I reckon that only have him light up his saber once, and when he does, he goes.
He
Is
goes
it
Yoda.
like the one time Yoda
Yeah.
lights up his lightsaber?
Yeah. When he pulls that thing out and he lights it up, and it's going to be a green saber. It's going to be his green saber. Everyone will lose their shit, and then
what if
they
he
go
dual
mad.
wields his green saber and his blue saber?
Nah, I reckon Ray keeps the saber.
I don't know.
She's
I think
keeping
Ray
it
makes
blue.
her own because Kylo gets his own. I think
Yeah,
Rey gets her own.
he makes a new one because his first one was fucked up.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Cracked kyber crystal. That's no way to go. Buy
How
some
did he
new
get cracked
shoelaces.
again? He got cracked a particular way, didn't it? Did Luke crack it?
No, I don't think it actually said. Or like
Yeah,
he's just bad at life. I
He
think, or
dropped
something
it.
like that. Anyway. Yeah, maybe. Don't drop your lightsabers, kids. That was Anakin's
hack into
problem.
consoles,
Always
kids.
dropping these fucking
I think
lightsabers.
there'll be more material
there are-
for the Finn, Poe shippers. More material for them to
Shippers?
to get
Go Tumblr.
for Tumblr. Yep,
Go Tumblr!
the Storm Pilot fans. Yep,
Storm
that's what-
Pilot.
That's the ship name I looked up.
Thank you for joining us on what will be the last episode of the countdown to The Last Jedi before we've actually seen Last Jedi. Next time you're listening to this podcast, we will have seen that movie that we've been counting down to and watching. Has everyone had a great time watching a Star Wars movie
Yeah,
week by
it's
week?
good.
I have loved it.
I've enjoyed hearing you nerd out every week, Dylan.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
here all day.
You know, we could just maybe we should give you like a web page to talk about.
Yeah,
it or some shit.
I think you
Maybe.
need to vent some more.
Yeah.
Every
Needs to have
Think
a
about Star
really
Wars?
good name for people to want to come and see
Yeah.
it though.
Pog attack. Stop.
How come
Pog.
there was no prediction around Porgs? I think less than
I
5
don't-
minutes
why
of
was there no
Porgs.
Porg predictions? Porgs are not going to get their retribution
Yep.
against Chewie.
The Porg's just going to forgive
Chewie.
Chewie.
Nice.
My last description, my last prediction for this show, the last thing I'll properly say, Porgs deserved to get punched by Wookiee. Porgs deserved it. They would have done something to deserve it.
He was on the controls. He was trying to fly the ship.
I hate everyone here. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil, where you can find these stupid videos and stuff I've been cutting out that these fools are presumably being seen, that they're talking about. Fucking God. Every time I watch a new TV spot for The Last Jedi, nothing but hot trash in these files, I find. Kieran, where can people follow you?
People can follow me at your boy All Hands Ringo. No, just at your boy Ringo.
Okay. Where can people follow you,
You
Ashley?
can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. Thing it is.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it on the show at least.
I think it is.
You can follow the podcast network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Head to explosionnetwork.com for all the other great content. Look out for some more Last Jedi stuff. I'm sure there'll probably be another episode of this, a review, a video on it probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lots
Something
of Star
happened.
Wars stuff heading your way. Stay tuned. Keep your sabers locked and loaded. That's not actually a thing. May the Force be with you.
When
Bye-bye.
I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Happy holidays and a happy new year from everyone at the Explosion Network. With December, of course, comes award season hype, and the Explosion Network is dropping a top 10 list every week until the end of the year. Stay tuned to explosionnetwork.com for our pick of the best games, movies, and more from 2017. Alderaan Explosion concludes December 15th, so make sure to catch the last 2 episodes as we count down to and then watch The Last Jedi. Swag announcement. T-shirts now available at designbyhumans.com/shop/Explosion Network. Grab a design with Bevan on it, or one with Plat Plat to rep the network. And of course, our weekly shows continue. Pleasure Explosion Monday, Platinum Explosion Tuesdays, Grandstand Gurus Thursdays, each at 12 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Catch our live streams on twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all of our explosive
Public service
content.
announcement, please. Any listeners, this is the Explosion Network. Remember, if you have been harassed or abused by a porg, reach out. Talk to somebody. Email us at porgstompers@explosionnetwork.com. Just talk about it. Make sure
Reach
your
out
friends are
and
okay.
touch faith. Dun, dun, dun,
What
dun,
if
dun,
what if
dun,
porgs
dun,
aren't that good?
dun, 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 dun.
No, what if they're like dark
I've
side
already
porgs?
spent too much fucking money for them not to be good.
What if they're just
Don't
like,
say this shit.
they're just walking
Is
on
that
strings?
how
They have
people
an
talk?
entire shelf with fucking porgs.
Is that how
on it.
people talk themselves into thinking they like Jar Jar Binks?
Probably. I was like, how many things? I own 5 porgs. Like, I've got a fucking t-shirt. I've got no, they have to be good.
I hope you haven't listened this far.
I hope they have.
Let's stop.